Hi everyone, Vortex TCG here, and today I've got the second round of my store championship run with Phoenixmon. My opponents will be playing RustTyrannomon in the right, and if you're looking forward to this video, please do like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Apparently I can't talk today, but either way, my opponent's going to start off going into the Kabu and then go into the Ninja. I'm going to start off by going into the Berdra and then playing the Akiho to pass the turn. So just building up my board, getting ready for a massive swing turn that could potentially happen in about 1 or 2 turns time. My opponent is going to promote the Ninjamon here, and then they're also going to go into the Pangeamon, so a new inclusion for my opponent in the deck. Pangea, pretty good, allows you to play pretty much all the tamers that you need in this deck, and yeah, definitely does help the strategy quite a lot. He then swings into security and hits a BO3, so lucky swing for him. I think he already had quite a lot of DP as is, but he then plays the Betamon and is able to get all the searches he needs. So he looks at the top 3, adds the Tiger, and then pass the turn. So definitely in a good position my opponent is. So what I decide to do here is I go into Garudamon even, use his effect potentially to play out a Tamer. I think here I'm considering which one I want to play. So I play the Christie, so this allows me to play a Biomon from hand or trash when it gets deleted. So at this point I'm thinking, do I want to swing at security? And I don't really want to. I kind of want to clear this Pangeamon because it slows my opponent down quite a lot. So that's what I do. They're both at 7k DP, so we can't really do much about that, unfortunately. I believe I gain a memory. I get to draw a card, play a Tamer, and then get the search off Akiho here. So definitely a big play for me, just continuing my aggression. So it's pretty nice. I add the Berdramon here, and then on deletion I get to play a Biomon. In this case I just play the Searcher one back, which is quite nice. Also give it Rush with all the top 3 cards, add the Phoenixmon, and put the rest to the bottom of the deck. So now I've got a pretty good setup going on here. I've got the Christie, which allow me to gain a memory, and then I'm also got 2 Akihos, so I can do double Rush if that ever comes up. So now my opponent hatches an egg, and they've only got 1 memory to play with, which is quite unfortunate. So they decide to go into the Tyrannomon. Maybe should have reduced the cost there because it would have, you know, maybe slowed my turn down quite a bit here, but he decides not to. So I go into the Biomon in raising here. Apologies for the glare. And then I go into the Berdramon in raising, and I kind of realize that this Berdramon is just kind of sitting goose essentially. So I swing into security. It doesn't die, which is quite bad because if my opponent is able to go into like the RustTyrannomon or a card like that on the following turn, I could be in a lot of trouble, let's just say. So he's got 2 memory, but he's also able to reduce the cost of guys as well, so keep that in mind. So he goes into the Kokuagamon here. Nice card for the deck, gains you a memory when you delete a Digimon, I believe. And now he's got some thinking to do, so he decides to go into, I believe, the the Metal Tyranno here. I think he's just confirming it, see what he can do. Just thinking it through, it seems. So he uses both to go into the BT13 Metal Tyranno, causing my Berdramon to not unsuspend during the unsuspend phase, which is quite annoying, but hey, is what it is. He then passed the turn by going into the RustTyranno, so I get to draw. I'm at 3 memory, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm considering if I want to promote, and I definitely do. I get a memory from the Christie here, which is very nice. I then go into the Phoenixmon here for free. Allows me to, when I swing, use an on deletion essentially, so that is rather nice. So then I swing at security, it's a Tiger. I use the Phoenixmon effect, which allows me to play once security is gone, so I'm able to use a lot of effects still. So I use the Phoenixmon effect here, and the on deletion I've decided to do is play a guy, I believe, in this situation. So I decide to do that. I think I'm just considering if there's any other options like the BOmon here, but I don't think I have the Garuda that I'm looking for in my hand. So, a bit unfortunate, but hey, is what it is. So I play the Birdramon here, give it Rush, and then also give Phoenixmon an additional security check, allowing it to do another check. So keep that in mind, very important combo for the deck, because the attack is still happening when you play a guy. So just keep that in mind. I swing with the Birdramon, that has Rush now, hits a Tyrannomon, and yeah, I mean, my opponent has a lot of stuff going for him on this following turn. Obviously everything is suspended, but one of the weird things about this matchup is that he wants to delete things and I want my guys to be deleted. So it's very, very weird and tricky for my opponent to navigate this, I would say. Especially as he only has 2 memory. Maybe if he had maybe like a level 4 or level 5 he can go into, maybe the game would be a lot more easier for him, but unfortunately only has the Rust Tyranno, and he does have the Metal Tyranno inheritable underneath as well, so when he swings and unsuspends he's able to trash his security as well, which is very important. So he swings into the Birdramon, I gain a memory for when it dies because I have a red tamer in play, and then does a trash one, and then also does a normal check. Then goes into the Birdramon, does 1 check, hits a BOmon. Unfortunately, I think he miscalculated here. He thought he could go for lethal, but he forgot the Metal Tyranno was only once per turn. Could you imagine if it wasn't only once per turn? That would be a little bit insane, in my opinion. So, you'll see a lot more Machine Dramon. That's the last thing you want to see, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I think my opponent miscalculated, and I think he is going to probably lose because of that, unfortunately. But he did do a lot of security damage, so it's got that going for him, to say the least. So he's just considering his final options. He can potentially go into a level 4 to a level 5 here, which, you know, I don't know if it will be good right now, but it might end up helping a little bit. So I think he's just figuring out, he decides to swing at security for fun, hits a hero, which is just salt in the wound. So he then just plays a memory boost to suspend, but I get to unsuspend. So I unsuspend everything. There's only 1 security left. There could be something in security, so I play out my turn just to make sure that doesn't happen, just in case. I gain a lot of memory due to effects, swing, and that is game 1. We then get into game 2, and my opponent is going to start off here. He goes into the Tyrannomon, hard plays a Tyranno, which is not great, but he gets to play a Tiger, so it's definitely a very costly turn 1, but might end up working out for him. I, however, get a pretty good start in going the Birdramon and the hero to set up my early game. He goes into the Metal Tyranno and then pass the turn. So he's building up to a stack, but at the moment I'm not really fussed as much, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I just need to make sure that I get the pieces that I'm looking for, and I do by going into the Garuda here to pass the turn. So my opponent's going to get a pretty good swing turn here, I'd assume, but I'm setting up for a larger payoff at a later time. So so he's going to go into the Digimon, and I wasn't expecting the Digimon. Unfortunately, doesn't hit a tamer from the Digimon, but he is still able to swing at security, and he gets to see the Metal Tyranno. I think he was a bit confused because he thought it was only tamers, but the when attacking is also for Digimon. So he gets to play the Metal Tyranno for free, which is pretty nice. Hits a Christie though, which is very unfortunate for my opponent, to say the least. And yeah, so he's now at 0, so he goes into the RustTyrannomon for, I believe, 4. So maybe should have reduced it there, but I don't think it really... Well, it probably might have actually ended up mattering if you reduced it, but it is what it is. I go into the Phoenixmon here, and I decide to play an, I believe, an Akiho as well, so I can get a search going. And then I think at this point I need to get rid of the GG so he stops getting a lot of value. I use Hero to gain additional 2k so I can eliminate the GGmon here. No more feet GG on the field, to say the least. I think there I was just curious if I want to not swing at security or into security instead. I thought I trashed a Digimon here, or security here, but the RustTyrannomon is for the Digimon specifically, so I put it back. My opponent was perfectly fine with that. So I end the turn by going into, I believe, the BO3 here. So now my opponent has I think a decent turn coming up ahead because he's got quite a bit of memory. He's going to be able to potentially swing into the Phoenixmon. It will get me a lot of benefits, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you just got to get rid of the stack. I know it will replace itself, but you can't just have the Phoenixmon just constantly applying pressure like that, I think. So I think he swings into the Phoenixmon, so I start activating effects, get to draw 2, get to play some Tamers as well, and I also get to play the Digimon with the Phoenixmon. So I added a card there. Then I believe I play the BO3 effect to return the Christie, to then play the Garudamon effect to then play the Christie effect to give the on deletion to the BO3 here. So, you know, just gaining a lot of advantage from him swinging, obviously. The Garuda BO Christie combo is very nice, but you need 3 cards for it, so it's not always, you're not able to do it all the time, unfortunately. But when it comes up, it does feel very good. So I've got a pretty good board here. He suspends my guy, but I unsuspend. He's still got 5 security, so I don't think I'll be able to win this turn, but we'll see what I can do. So here, I believe I have a couple of options. So I go into the Phoenixmon here, and then pretty much I go straight away to swinging. I do use the hero here, my bad. And then I use the BO to return the Christie again, play the Garuda again, and then play the Christie, giving the on deletion. I believe I should have given it to the BO3 here, maybe. He gets to play the, is it Maki, I believe it is, from the security here. So I go into another Phoenixmon just to end the turn. Maybe I should have swung with the BO3, but I was a bit worried just in case, there's another suspend guy and he's able to go into something like a RustTyrannomon very quickly, especially as he has 4 Tamers out now. I don't think it'll be that difficult to do, because he can do he can reduce the next thing by 4, I believe, and then go into the RustTyrannomon for 1. But I think at this point my opponent was struggling to find a RustTyrannomon, which is very unfortunate. I believe if he had the RustTyrannomon, it would have actually made quite a lot of difference. So he taps 4, goes into the Metal Tyranno, gets to suspend all my guys essentially, and then 1 doesn't get to unsuspend. So I'm just telling him about the stacks. I believe the one at the top, the Phoenixmon at the top, has the on deletion, play a BO3, just as a heads up. So at this point, my opponent is in a bit of a problematic situation. He can obviously get rid of the BO3 here, but after that, what do you really do? Oh, this is why I think if he had the RustTyrannomon, he would be able to do a massive turn here, because essentially he'll be able to get rid of both of the Phoenixes. I know it'll be able to play stuff back, but you essentially get rid of my Phoenixes because I can't recycle them in the deck. So it would have ended up being pretty good. So he goes Grand Assault. He targets the one with the BO3, but I think this is a misplay. He could have just done the other one because it didn't really matter. They both had the same inheritable. So, and that was already stunned. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that play, but he was confused. So it was just, when we were talking about it after, he was just like, I was like confused because of all the on deletion effects and everything. So I completely get that, because when you look at these cards, they have so many on deletions, like play a tamer, draw a card, delete a 6k or less, play a Digimon out that costs 3k but costs, you can do 2k more each time. There's a lot going on. So I swing into security and it dies to the the RustTyranno, the card that he's really looking for here, which is very unfortunate for my opponent. But now I get to play stuff from the Phoenixmon here, so I am just checking. So I play a funny card here. I play the Digimon, which I thought was quite funny. Play the Birdramon, swing 2 times, doesn't die, and then swing for game.